you can see I'm slowly making progress on this room, like super slowly. But we've got some really cool things today. So today we're going to talk about the most versatile thing you probably have in your craft room. Tilly's going to drop in and say hi. She's watching, what are you watching?
Shows.
No, what's it called? K-pop Demon Hunters? Apparently it's super popular, so I'm just not cool enough to know these things. Anyway, so I'm opening up, so in a second I'll be able to see all your comments on my laptop. Hey Laurie, yeah, it's rainy here too. That's the only thing about this house I don't like, is it's really dark. So that's the only thing for me that I don't like about this house. But other than that, it's really nice. So I just, why can't I watch the video? Here we go. So those of you may also have seen me live this morning. This morning with Melanie over at Scrappy Shack. She goes live every Saturday morning. So she's not going live next Saturday because they're going to the Scrapbook Expo convention in Atlanta. And I met Melanie a long time ago, and we got some really cool stuff coming up. So we'll get to that in a second, because I'm going to go live later today, this evening, on the channel, but I'm going to only go live to our members to give them a behind the scenes look of what's coming here at Hedgehog Hollow. Actually, we'll do one today, I'm going to do one tomorrow, because we have two super duper exciting things going on. And so I want to reward our members by sharing it with them first. But today we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about the most versatile thing, I think. And the reason I say that is because I've been super excited to do this video because I love this. And I wanted to make sure it was a weekend so that I had the time and I wasn't in a rush to talk about all the different things that this medium has. I don't have any tweezers, Olivia, that I've come across yet. We had sold out the tweezers before we moved, so I'm not sure. But I did add some stuff to the store. So I did add, I'll tell you what I added. So there was some really cool stuff, actually. So if you ever wanted I don't know, mine's gone, the Dear to Me die, or the Savannah Skies, which matched the silhouette. We did the dye that matched. I found one of each and I put them in the store because I already had one in my stash. So I added that. I've added some of the papers we're going to use today. I added the tape we're going to use today. I added some alcohol inks, different ones, which we're going to talk about today as well. Oh, to become a member, underneath it'll say subscribe and then it says join channel, and you can hit join there. I did, oh, who remembers our pencil bone folder? Like this. I found 9 of those, so I added that. I'm trying to think. There was 1 Yellowstone ink pad, a couple of paper pads. Oh, and for those of you who are looking for ink pads and re-inkers, I did find a couple more and I've added those into stock as well. So you may find the color you were looking for is back in stock. Anyway, link to the store is down below, hedgehoghollowstore.com. I can also put it in the description. Hedgehoghollowstore.com. I might do it as a link. There you go. I don't know if I... Okay, so I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I'm going to show you my laptop screen. Anyway, I can do it. So this is if I'm watching me, which is kind of weird to be watching myself. You go down here, there's a join button. Wherever my mouse went. Yeah. Join button. And then there's some different levels in there and you can join. And so yeah, I'll be going live with the members tonight and tomorrow night to show you behind the scenes what's going on. I'm actually really excited, like really excited. Melanie and I have come up with some cool stuff. So anyway, today we're going to talk about alcoholics. Now the reason I say it's so versatile, because one, there is a ton of different brands on the market and we're going to talk through those. Actually, I wanted to grab a couple of these. Oh, I also added, for those of you, you'll see when I set up, the Maker Forte aprons. If you never got one, there was 9 I found in a box, and I took one, so there's 8 on the website. Let's see. Okay, and we have everything else. So we're going to work on alcohol inks today. And I love alcohol inks because there is so much you can do with them. I mean, like, so much. And so I'm really excited to dive in. So I don't know how many, put in the chat if you have alcohol inks. And let me know when you last used them. Because I bet not as often as you should. And I'm also intrigued, like, how you all use them. Do you just kind of use them to make backgrounds? What do you do with them? All those kinds of things. Because, I don't know. Tilly was looking at it and now I don't know where she put it. So I showed you on one of the first lives I did that I was making some resin coasters. Now I was trying to do those blooms. If you've ever seen the bloom things, that's what I was trying to do. And I did it the first time, and that's what we got. Because of the brand of alcohol inks, I did the same technique. I mean, I did it exactly the same with a different brand of alcohol inks, and I got something towards a bloom. Okay, so it definitely, all alcohol inks are not created equal, and we're going to talk about that today as well. So we're going to go into that. So Polly says, yep, I have them. I don't know how to use them. So we're going to talk about all of that. Have a whole drawer of alcohol ink stuff, and I'm going to go through it all step by step. So I don't know how long this video is going to go, but if you want to know everything there is to know about alcohol inks, stay with us because we're going to dive in. I'm literally grabbing everything. Okay. So I literally grabbed out my whole alcohol ink drawer. And what I want to do is just talk through stuff kind of step by step, because I think a lot of things get missed when it comes to alcohol ink. I'm going to open up a drawer here. There we go. So I can put things in as we use them, and we can be a little bit organized. So let's talk about the alcohol inks themselves. So first we're going to talk about the inks. Then we're going to talk about how to use them. We're going to talk about different surfaces. I have a gazillion types of paper here to talk to you about. Different surfaces you can use them on. Oh, thanks, Alicia. Hey, Alicia. I just noticed your name pop up. Products. Pencil. Find pencil. Oh, I didn't save. Okay, I should have fixed it by now. Ew, there's a bug on my desk. I'm not a bug person. Okay, so, let's breathe. Let's see what we got on comments. I use Tim Holtz's comment says, Polly says she has them, but she doesn't know the last time you used them. Alicia said about that. Do I record and post this? Yes, I do, Laurie. Debbie says, I usually make backgrounds by alcohol inks from Ranger. Tim Holtz just had a new release with neon colors. Very cool. You should check them out. I saw that. I actually have some neons. Actually, I did add 2 neons to the store. So before I closed the store, thank you. Before I closed the store, we had bought in a little brand. We were going to do some like different stuff with alcohol inks. I was actually, well, number one, I was going to have my own alcohol inks, and they were really cool. But I'd also bought in these couture creations. So there's a fluorescent blue and a fluorescent orange. So I had a few of those, so I added them to the store, and I took one of each for me so that we can demo with them. but we have a ton of stuff here. So as I say, if you are in with me for the long haul, we're literally going to dive through everything you could probably ever need to know about alcoholics. And I'm going to work my way through this stack of stuff. If you could see like the stack of stuff I have here to talk about. So let's just dive straight in. Now I'm going to figure out the... my new mount. Eventually we'll get all the cameras and stuff set up, but I don't know how to do all of that. So this is what we got. Okay, let's see how we go. So you can see my desktop is kind of full of stuff right here. So everybody probably knows about Tim's alcoholics, which are in here. So these are my Tim Holtz alcoholics. These are designed to be used out the bottle onto your surface, and you can use them like regular alcoholics. All right, so I have, maybe there's new colors, but these were all of the old colors, and I had, let's see, I love these boxes for them. We had a little black and pink one coming too, kind of makes me sad. That's Foundry Wax, that doesn't belong in it. Then there's alcohol ink pearls. So these are alcohol ink with a pearlescent, and they're gonna have, they like dance when you use them. So we'll go through that. And then there's mixatives. They're metallic, but they're a little bit different to, say, I had on here, alloys. So there's also alloys, and they're different to your regular metallics. So that's what you can have in the Tim Holtz, and now he has neons as well. But this was kind of like the basic that that he had. So we're going to dive into these a little bit later. All right, so that's brand number one is Tim's. I think we all know. You'll see Tim. Then I have here, these are my Jacquard alcoholics. Okay, now I really love these. These are actually probably, I don't know whether there's a color hive in here. These are probably actually my favorite alcoholics. So these are designed to be a base, and you're supposed to thin them out. And that's what extender is made for. So these are not designed to use them out the packet. You see how, like, I mean, these have like been in the garage for so long and gloopy and everything, but they still work. Just a few of them leaked or got tipped over or whatever. But you see like how gloopy this is and how thick this is. It's because of the binder and everything that's in them. So the whole idea is that you are supposed to extend them out, and that's why we had maker mixing bottles, because you could thin these out with the extender. You can do it with isopropyl alcohol, but the extender is just better. It gives you a better effect. But these are super, super vivid. But if you use them out the bottle, they're going to be like really gloopy. But I also like it because I can mix my own colors. I can make custom things. I can make them and I can get different shades. So I can do a dark, a medium, and a light of the same thing, and it's going to ombre perfectly. So I really like these. I like the way they behave. And actually, these are the ones that bloom that looked really good. These were the pinatas. So this here are these pinata alcohol inks in here. This disaster was the Marabou inks. So the Marabou I bought, and I probably have most of the colors. I thought it was kind of cool because they have these interference ones. So this is violet, blue, green. They have the powder, you know, the regular colors. You can use them directly out the packet. They have an easy on-off lid. You just cut it down when you get it. And I thought they were great. Honestly, I've not been a fan since I used them, but we'll make a little sample and you guys can see what they're like to work with. Then we have the Couture Creations. So these are the ones we were going to stock, and we were then going to also add our own ones that we designed to match our colors. But there's two fluorescents in here. We have one called the Golden Age. So this has it's a baby pink with a gold shift in it. This is a lavender pearl. This is metallic rose gold. And this is onyx. So this is black with that glitter in it, which I think is really, really pretty. And there's 3 of each of those that I listed this morning because I found them. So that's that. I also have some isopropyl alcohol here ready to go. I have Blanco, and I have the big one. I have the little one, and I just refill it from the big one. Well, that's what I used to do. And this Blanco to me is the best. It's very much almost like our Snow Flurries white. It's not too thick, it behaves nicely, and you'll kind of see when we're playing around. These, again, this is the Jacquard copper. So you see all of them, whether it's Tim or Jacquard or whoever, they have a liquid and then they have the metallic in the bottom. And all you have to do is start shaking. They all have a metal ball in them and they'll come back. So these haven't been used in 3 years and you can still absolutely get it back. So that's what it looks like, the copper. Okay, so that's the copper. Then here I have Pinata cleanup solution. I have blending solution, kind of does what it says on the tin. I have some alcohol lifting, and the alcohol lifting also comes in an ink pad, which I have here. Here's the ink pad. Is it possible to emboss an image like a floral and use alcohol inks to color? Absolutely, if you use the right paper, and we're going to talk about paper before we dive in. Absolutely, for sure you can do that. So that's alcohol lifting. The alcohol ink will color the embossing powder if you're not careful. I mean, if you use black, obviously you're not going to see it so much. But yes, you can absolutely do that, no problem at all. And you can also take cardstock, put clear, ultra thick clear embossing powder on it, or anything like that. Basically create a non-porous surface, and you can alcohol ink on top of it. That's also a really cool technique. You can also use your Copic or your Olo or your whatever alcohol markers you've got. You can use the markers, and you can use the re-inkers for all of these techniques that we're going to look at and talk about, and all that kind of stuff too. Okay, what else do we have in here? So as I was mentioning, you can paint with alcohol inks. You just have to make sure that the palettes that you use are not going to degrade with the alcohol ink. So this one is, I have a drawer of these, and I haven't used this in 3 years. It's had alcohol ink in it, and it hasn't degraded or eaten it or done any of those things at all. Again, I found a box. So I'm going to tell the members later a story about the box. But I found a box with some in, so I've listed them for you. If you want, I think it's like 2 pallets you get. And like $1 each, so nothing. And then let's talk about paper and stuff. Oh, I also have these. So this is something that Wendy Vecchi's husband invented, I guess. And the idea is you put your re-inker or whatever in, and it just makes them a little bit more stable. So it makes them easy to pick up and a little bit more stable. So if you're working, you can kind of have them on the edge of your work area like this. And that's what these were designed for. I have some of these too. And so they don't tip over. Or you can also get a pen that you can put your blending ink in. So you can put the blending solution in the pen. It has a like a brush nib and a fine nib. And wow, this one's still wet and it's not been touched in 3 years. It's been in the Florida heat in the garage. So they're really, really good. Does the embossing mess up the alcohol marker nibs? Not if you're careful. I mean, if you go all over it, like scribble back and forth over it, no. But if you just go up to it carefully, absolutely not. Nope. So there's that. I also have these wax crayons we used to use, and you can basically use it like a resist. You can draw something with this, go over with alcohol ink, and this will resist the alcohol ink on the wax. What else do I have in here? I of course have my felt pieces to create my backgrounds. I have special brushes I used to use. And then I also have my water brushes, and I'm pretty sure I found some of these, but I have to go check. But, so I can unscrew this one. It might melt it a little bit. Let's see. Oh, my ones have melted, for sure. So, let's see what I have. Let's try this one. Yeah. So you can put your alcohol ink in here, either with blending solution, you can put it in neat, you can mix it with isopropyl alcohol, you can add extender in here, and then you can use them like paint pens or do like watercolor style techniques, but just with alcohol. So you can actually put some of the isopropyl alcohol down and then paint into it, and it does these really cool bursts and stuff. I mean, literally, I could probably make a whole series on different ways to use alcohol ink. So that's that. So now let's talk about surfaces a little bit. Something else I just found in my, these are my lids for my little makers bottles. Something I just found is, and this was in my drawer, was these cleaning pens. And this was in my alcohol ink drawer, so maybe these do something cool too. Thermal printer cleaning pen. Maybe we can draw into it. I mean, this is wet, so we'll try. I don't know what that does, but it was in my alcohol ink drawer. Oh yeah, it's got alcohol ink, I can smell it. Okay, so let's talk about surfaces, because there is a ton of things that you can alcohol ink on. And I just grabbed, I'm sure there's stuff here I've even forgotten. So, if you thought you could only alcohol ink on a couple of things, you would be wrong. You can alcohol ink on a ton of stuff. I was going to say almost anything, but I guess other than paper, pretty much anything. So you can alcohol ink on tile, you can alcohol ink on acetate, you can alcohol ink really on any plastic, on china. I've seen people make some like really cool bowls and then resin over them. It obviously works great inside of resin. All kinds of different things. Oh, and here's another accessory, the blower, which we shall use. You can also use your foils with your ThermoWeb cold foils, the ones that we talked about the other day. So you can use them with that. You can also put down, so I go to Home Depot and I buy the foil tape, and you can put that down and you can alcohol ink on it. Okay, so you can take this and you can alcohol ink over their metal tapes. Go to the plumbing section, the HVAC section, get the metal tape, put it down on your cardstock. You can then die cut it. It actually has a paper backer, so if you don't want to put it on cardstock and you just want to have it loose and put it through a punch, you can do all of those things with it. You can put it through your embossing folders. You can also go and get the really thin metal in the plumbing section, like really thin, like metal sheets. And you can run that through molds, you can run it through embossing folders, and then put some lightweight spackling in the back and then alcohol ink over the top. And it's really, really good fun. So that's one medium you can use. You can use the Maker Forte Geminino paper. And I love this paper. So it's a really special paper because you can actually use both sides of it. So you can alcohol ink on either side. Actually just gave me here. So you can alcohol ink on either side. The glossy side also is porous enough that you can use your regular color hives on it. So this is a paper that you can use in so many different ways. This is like the satin side of it. This behaves just like Yupo. Just like Yupo paper, and it's way, way cheaper. And then this side is the glossy, shiny side, and you can use with porous or non-porous stuff on it as well. Okay, so you can use that too. And there is some of this in the store because I found a whole box of it. It's not cut to the side, it's 8.5 by 11 sides, but that's in there. You can alcohol ink on vellum because vellum is not that porous. So this is the Rosé the Day Away that we had. You can also use our heavy duty translucent vellum. So they both of these come in. I found big sheets earlier somewhere. But anyway, these are my little pieces. So you can use both of these. Yes, you can use kitchen foil. I don't know if I grabbed it. We'll see by the end of it. Remind me about freezer paper because I have a thing to tell you there. You can use mirrored cardstock. So this is the rose gold ripple. Anything I'm showing you that was Maker Forte is actually listed because I found some of it. Otherwise I wouldn't have any. And for some reason I had the forethought to grab more than one of most things. So I list them anyway. So this is the rose gold ripple. You can alcohol ink on this. You can alcohol ink on our silver paper. This is the one I haven't managed to find more of yet, but I will. This is kind of like a dupe for the Ranger one. And you can do some really cool things with that. You can alcohol ink on the Heavenly Skies, which has like a cloud texture to it. So you get like textured alcohol ink in there. You can go on the tiles that Ranger sell. These have like a clay coating on them. They're alcohol ink tiles. You can alcohol ink on both sides. They come in different shapes, different sizes, all that kind of different stuff. You can alcohol ink on alcohol ink cardstock. So this is just a glossy cardstock. You can alcohol ink on it. And just bear in mind, on different surfaces, the alcohol inks are going to behave a little bit differently, but you can still have lots of fun with them. This is graphics craft plastic. So we created some pieces on the graphics craft plastic. You can alcohol ink on Nara paper. So this is Nara that we alcohol inked on. This is the metal tape that I told you about, the plumbing tape. Super cool. This is regular Yupo here. This is translucent Yupo. This is Mylar sheeting, clear Mylar. So it's just a protected backing on it, but it's Mylar. This is on vellum. This is on Duralar. This is on those tiles. Oh no, this is a really cheap board and I added Kills to it. So if you know what Kills is, you can get it in a spray and you can get it as a paint as well. And you can put it on, it creates a latex surface and you can alcohol ink on it as well. So there's another thing you can do. You can alcohol ink, we went through those. Ranger, I don't know if they still do them, but they had a brushed silver. They had a black alcohol ink cardstock. I want to keep that out for something. There's translucent Yupo we talked about. Regular Yupo. So Yupo is a plastic paper. It's a Dutch plastic paper. If you've never seen it or used it or anything like that, that's what Yupo is. And then this is their silver sparkle cardstock that they had for alcohol inks. So that's that. What else am I gonna say? Oh, we're gonna spray some stuff. You can spray isopropyl alcohol all you want. Do not spray blending solution or extender or cleanup solution. Do not put these in spray bottles. They have binders in them, and if you get the particles, they're not good for you to breathe in if they're sprayed in the air. You can also get sprays like this, like just for the isopropyl alcohol. All that kind of stuff. Yes, you can use mineral paper. You can use, I have so many papers here for alcohol inks. You can use, this was something I was going to release, and we never got that far. Because I found it, and it's really cool to alcohol ink in. It's called rice paper. And you see like it gives you almost that handmade texture, and you can use it with alcohol inks and porous inks, and it's really, really fun. You can also, and I'm not advocating anything, go to the post office or to Home Depot and buy Tyvek, and you can alcohol ink on that as well. This is called waterproof paper. I think it's basically Yupo. It was from Bria Reese, and you can alcohol ink on that as well. But my favorite thing, and I meant to go and get some, and Tilly and I went shopping and we got everything we wanted except this, of course. What is freezer paper? So go and buy a roll of freezer paper, and you can practice all of your techniques and everything. And it's really cool. I had a sample. I don't know what I did with it. Basically all my, like, I have my book that has all my freezer paper pieces in it, and here's one, but this isn't what I was. But this is like my practice. So then I write on the back, using alloys and mixtures with ink and alcohol over existing art. And then this is rainbow, adding blending solution first, move with airbrush, tap pipette with 91% to start splatters. So you can kind of see on here, just to kind of give you some ideas as well. So this is freezer paper. I don't know what Gaston paper is. But yeah, so these are all things that you can use and do and all that kind of stuff. So I guess let's dive in. Oh, the other thing I have is, and I found some of these. I was so happy. This was alcohol masking tape paper. tape paper, just alcohol masking tape. So it doesn't work on Geminino, but anything plastic that you've got, and the instructions told you how to use it and stuff. But this is the only tape or only medium I know of, and I can only get it in this size. I wish at one point I'd found how to get it this big, but I contacted the manufacturer and they still make this. This is the only tape I know of that works for masking alcohol inks. Okay, so we're going to try that out as well. So if everyone's ready, we're going to dive in. I'm going to wear some gloves just so I can easily change between mediums and colors and stuff. Usually I will also put down press and seal, but I didn't have that much thought today. So we're just going to kind of roll with it. Okay. So I'm just going to use mainly the Geminino paper just because I have lots of it and I really like it and it's really cool and you can do all sorts of different stuff with it. But I forgot to buy the paper. So first I want to start with, let's start with Tim's inks. So let's kind of just play around a little bit. So let's grab out, because I want to show you the difference. So here's a pearl. Here's a mixative. Here's an alloy. And let's grab out a couple of colours. Let's do pink and the blue. Let's just start there. So I also want to get, I just had a whole bag of those. What did I do with them? Okay. So I got some bottles and some lids. These are all Maker mixing bottles. Hey Lola. That's a good idea, Misty. Yeah, I usually put down press and seal because it sticks to your glass mat and it doesn't go anywhere. So that's why I like it. So. Okay. So I want to show you some different things. Oh, the other thing I like, so with alcohol inks, you often want movement. So this is really good. And then I used to watch a lady on YouTube and she recommended getting one of these like hair blower things. You usually put a curler in and using this, because if you use your heat gun, it's too much heat and not necessarily enough airflow either. So it kind of doesn't work on either level. That works. Put my little drawer here. I'm also going to take some of Tim's ink and I'm going to add some extender to it because I want to show you the difference. Alright. So first of all, the first time I'm going to do this, I'm just going to put down regular alcohol ink, Flamingo, and Indigo from the bottle. So you can see it pops nicely. I'm using the satin side of my Geminino, so this is going to behave just like Yupo. And I'm just putting these in the middle so you can kind of see how they behave. And then you can see I don't really have a huge amount of movement in them. They kind of go and they dry, and it's not that wispy. Okay. Whereas if I put down, and even now I could go in with a little bit of blending solution, and I can layer up. You see how it's now starting to reactivate everything? And all of a sudden, I can start to create that kind of movement and blends in my colors. So that's the blending solution. Or I can take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and this is 99%, so it's really nice and strong. And I just did it with a pipette, tapped it down, and it's a different effect. So the bloom with this is very different. Okay, so you can kind of see that's the difference. If you just put it onto blank cardstock, you're not going to get a huge amount of movement. Okay, now if I put the thinned down ones on, even though I didn't put anything else down, see how much more movement and I guess depth almost to it you get by having thinned it down with the extender. So not only does it make your alcohol ink go further, you're actually going to see the difference in the effects. And when I get to the Jacquard, the wispiness you get and that ethereal look is really, really cool. So the alcohol inks have a binder in them. And that's kind of what makes them different to when you're maybe using a re-inker or something like that. And that binder is sticky. So when this kind of gets dry, and this is pretty dry already, I just want to dry it up as much as I can. I don't want any liquid here. I don't mind it being wet. This is tacky. A lot of this is tacky. So I'm just going to take some regular, this is my thermoweb foil we used to have. Go on here, press it down. Give it a really good rub and a burnish. And you're going to find those thick areas pick up the alcohol ink. Because that binder is sticky and it's going to hold on to some of that foil. So then you can get like natural veining and kind of make it look cool. So this is just on plain, dry, back of the Geminino. This is the Yupo side. I always call it the Yupo side and the glossy side. So this is the Yupo side of that paper. So that kind of gives you an idea. All right, then we're going to take more. Make sure I'm using the same side so we keep it the same. And this time I'm going to put alcohol ink blending solution down. Not too much, just a little bit. And we're going to start with the same thing. So some drops of, so you see it's a little bit like watercolor. Wherever I have the blending solution, it's keeping the alcohol ink in those areas. You see it doesn't bloom in the same way when it has that that blending solution in there, but look how much more movement I can get. And I can even go in with this. And the other nice thing about using that hair tool is that it's warm, so it helps it dry, but it doesn't warp your paper. So it helps that drying process, but it doesn't warp anything. And you see now, like, how pretty is that as a background? You can also still go in, and I'll do it on the different sides so you can kind of see. I can still add alcohol ink, blending solution, and create more blooms. I can add more color. Maybe drop more pink in here. And then I could come back in with this. And pull it out more. So you can keep going back. I can also take my isopropyl alcohol. and create blooms in this side as well. And you can see you can create cells. Oops, maybe you can't see. There you go. So you can create cells and movement and all this kind of stuff in here. So you can do all of that. So that's something else you can do. So blending solution first. I probably should write on these. Let's see if I had a sheet here. So I'm just going to keep them in order. All right, so that's that. Now we're going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to put down isopropyl alcohol. So I'm just going to spritz some isopropyl alcohol down. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a couple of drops of pink. Now you see it doesn't bloom in the same way. It very much starts to keep it where it should be. So it very much contains it. So now we can go in with our little heat tool again. So that's kind of the in the middle. So if you just use the isopropyl alcohol over the blending solution, but you've got lots of thick pieces here that you could add foil to. Whereas when you do it with the blending solution, here I'll put some foil on top, I don't think it's going to grab. Like when you use the blending solution, you get way, way less grab. So there, you just kind of get some little bits. But more where I had the alcohol, where I have the blending solution, you don't get so much. But you can still pick up little bits, and it's nice just to add that little bit of sparkle or, you know, things in there like that. All right. So that's the difference of using. I know I could still go in and add blending solution after. I wish someone could come out with a blending solution you could spray, because before I knew you couldn't mist it, I misted it and it was so pretty. You can mist isopropyl alcohol. So you can see that you can create some fun little cells just by misting your isopropyl alcohol in here as well. So there's some other ideas for you. All right, so now we're going to go back to adding our blending solution. I want to show you the difference though. If I use this thinned down alcohol ink, I just love this, how workable I feel that this thinned down alcohol ink is, just personally, it's just for me. If you're carrying an image, you could also put your blending solution. You've got the pen that I showed you earlier, this one. So you could draw an area and then just drop your alcohol ink in, and it's going to very much stay where that blending solution was. But the reason I wanted to do this was I want to show you working with the different things. So I'm going to shake all three of these, because as you see, alcohol inks, we kind of have to work quickly. Exactly, that's the nice thing with the plastic surfaces, as Misty says. You can just take some alcohol on paper towel and wipe it off, or almost wipe it down to almost nothing. And then you can start again, so you don't waste your surface. So it's kind of cool. I definitely think that this live is going to go into more than one, because we're already at like 45 minutes. Okay, so I've activated those. So we have an alloy, we have a mixative, and we have a pearl. So they all behave a little bit differently. Okay. Okay, so let's start with pearls. So pearls are going to behave more like alcohol ink. So I'm going to put some blending solution down because it's going to give me more time to work with these. And even because I've thinned this out, it's going to start to pull out some of the colors in it. You see how pretty this starts to look? And like how ethereal. And it's very different once you've thinned it down and extended it. And you'll see when I work with Jacquards even more so. So when I go in with my pearls, and then I'm going to put alloy next to it. Alloy did not. Ooh! No, my alloy is fine. Let's see if I got another one. I don't know where it flew under a cabinet. Yeah, exactly. Rope fans, and also, so I thinned it with the Claro extender from Jacquard. That's what it's designed to do. It's kind of like their version of blending solution, kind of. I don't know why. These don't want to work on it, but they don't. So that's alloy, and this is mixative. Hopefully this one next. These do not like me today. Oh, my magic wand, I don't need it. I'll grab out my magic wand. Other end. I really want you to work quickly so I could show you the difference. Okay. So there is the three. So we have a mixative on this side, we have the alloy in the middle, and the pearl. Now you can already see how different they all are kind of behaving. I'm just going to use air. This is your pearl. So your pearl you can very much move like a regular alcohol ink. It's just going to be shimmery. Your alloy is really thin and it's going to go a long way. And you can also work with it a little bit more like a regular alcohol ink. Now your mixative is really just going to be pure color. So you really have to work with the mixatives with inks. Try and keep them moist and wet. You can, I'll just show you about reactivating. So your mixative, you can almost mix it with your alcohol ink on the paper. Your alloy is very much going to stay down and just be a layer in there. Your pearl is just going to sit alongside it. Kind of be a little bit of a companion. So you can see the difference, how they all behave. So mixatives will mix. Your alloy is going to just be a layer, and the pearls just kind of coexist. But the pearls are really fun to play around with as well. So I want to just kind of show you the different things you can do and what not. Now, I can sit there. Hopefully I'm not going to. It's hard to feel with the gloves on. I want you to show you the alcohol ink masking tape because this to me was always really cool. And the reason I liked it was, say you were doing a card front, you could basically put the tape down. So you could either tape maybe over something that you'd already stamped, or you could tape it, create a background, and then you would have a space for a sentiment at the end here. So this is alcohol ink masking tape. And I don't know if anyone else who ever had it, and I googled it today and I couldn't find it, so maybe we did good. So I'm going to just take my alcohol ink and I'm going to basically create a blending solution now. Pink is my signature color. My house is black, white, and pink. That's the theme here. This is why I like to work with a surface underneath, because you can see it starts to kind of all run off. But it's looking really pretty. Like, I love this background. I really hope my tape was down enough. Let's get some kitchen towel. So all the different surfaces are kind of going to behave similarly. Then we could maybe add, I'm going to add some isopropyl alcohol. Create some nice little like cells in it. This is onyx black with glitter in it. I've never thinned these ones out actually. I don't know what they would do if I thinned them out. One thing I'll tell you is I never ever, or very rarely ever, use the Velcro pieces to create my backgrounds. I make them like this. I love this black because of all the shimmer in it. I'm kind of liking this gothic vibe, and so I'm loving how this is like coming together. And if you remember and you join the live later, you'll see what I mean about the gothic vibe. This is super pretty. You see how the black's separated and it's like got some greens and stuff in it too? Would a heat tool on low setting? So the heat is just going to dry it. This has much more airflow and less heat, so it moves it. So that's why I like it. But you need moisture to move it. So I'm going to actually take some extender. And you can absolutely just put down extender, like blending solution almost. And then I'm going to throw in maybe some baby pink and some lavender. So this is a lavender pearl. It's not got as much pearl as Tim's, so it's a little bit more delicate, I guess, the shimmer part, but I love the color. That like magenta-y lavender I think is really pretty. I'm going to thin that in a second. And then we're just going to add, I don't know if you can see just how much shimmer this baby pink has. Like even the alcohol pearls don't have this level of the shimmer. The other nice thing about the alcohol ink tape is it's holding it to my surface, so my paper's not blowing anywhere. And even if I put this on the hot rather than the cold setting, it's just going to dry it. It's not going to warp my paper. You see, none of my paper here is wrinkled or warped, which is very easy to do when you use a regular heat tool. And then you can just play. Like, I kind of feel like this is too intense up here. So I'm just going to spritz some isopropyl alcohol on it. And you can't see, but like I'm a good, I don't know, like almost a foot away. And I'm just letting the tiny micro droplets fall on top and do that activation for me. Like here, I don't know, I kind of feel like this is a little bit gloopy. So I'm going to put some alcohol blending solution in. And just thin it down a little bit and kind of just pull it. Now the one thing I'll say about Tim's inks compared to Jacquard is I find they're not as wispy. So like you'll see kind of here how intense this is. When we start working with Jacquards, they're really, really wispy. So it's a little bit different, okay? So if you want some of this tape, I should let this dry a little bit longer. But you see it does a pretty good job. If you burnish it down with your bone folder, you'd have a perfect seam. So that is why this tape's required. You also could take this tape and use this piece on something, I'm sure. I'm sure if Melanie's watching this, she thinks her girl, I think Barbie did the demo this morning, she would take this probably and put it in a junk journal or something, because it's a really pretty piece of tape. Look at that. Look at all that shimmer. I don't know if you can see. Like that baby pink just has so much shimmer in it. So it's kind of really cool. So you can use that too. And then, wait, I really need a trash can. Then, I was wondering, I think it's still too wet to put the foil on. That's my concern. So I was going to try foiling it. I'm going to try. Well, this is just a test piece, right? We'll just use the bottom. We'll rub some foil over it. So all your little scraps of foil, when you do your foiling, keep it. You can use it for your alcohol ink. Hey, Candy. So that one's still pretty wet, so it picked up a lot. As I say, Tim's is very heavy on binder anyway. But that's the kind of pieces you can create, and I think they're really pretty. So when you put the tape down, just burnish it with your bone folder and make sure it's nicely down. You see a nice crisp edge. Alcohol won't get in. But yeah, there's some kind of cool thing. This is that onyx black. You've got the pink with this intense glitter in here. And then there's some fluorescent ones and stuff in there too. But yeah, so that is exactly. Trim it down, put the sentiment in. I think she used to have a little wrench next to you. I don't know what that means. I don't know. So yeah, so there's another kind of fun thing you can do with the alcohol inks. All right, so that's Tim's alcohol ink. So I'm going to just put these to the side. So, I had a box with the rest. Some things never change. So I get these on Amazon. And probably find a link to them. They're for essential oils, but they fit your alcohol inks perfectly. Apart from the one that I lost. Anyway, so that's that. So let's dive into Jacquard. My Jacquard inks are here. So I don't know, maybe Jacquard have released more colours. This used to be almost all of them. But I think, like my honest opinion, I think Jacquard alcohol inks are the best. Honestly. So they just have a lot of binder in them, but that's because of the way they're designed. So basically do the same thing. They have pearlescent ones. They have the white, which I told you I love this white that they have. Let's get that out. Let's do pink and blue the same. Okay. So first, I'm just going to show you how thick they are. I'm going to put blending solution down. But you're just going to see like these are super duper thick. But you'll also see how differently they behave. I think you can kind of already start to see. Like, look how much movement and blending I get from the pinatas. And also how vivid the colours are. I think, well, they are because this is a concentrate and you're going to see that. But they also are far more wispy. Look how intense that is. And that's just plain. That's just blending solution and the pure alcohol ink. And the amount of movement I've got with this compared to, what's the second one we did? To this, I mean, to me, there's just no comparison. So I love Pinata alcohols, always have done, and my piece of resin came out so cool with them. Okay, so that's why I like them, but you see they're really thick and they're going to take a while to dry. So I can still even move it now. And it's still not fully dry. You see, like here, I have so much binder that's just kind of there. I could add foil to that and pick it up and things. We can still spritz it with some isopropyl alcohol. I mean, look how cool that looks the second you do that. These pinatas to me are so reactive and so cool. And yeah, like super cool. So, that being said, you need to thin them down. So that's where our maker mixing bottles, who came up with that name, come into play. So we're going to take a little bit of this, goes a really long way, just FYI. So yes, they're a little bit more expensive, but you'll absolutely get your money's worth. So this is the magenta, Senorita Magenta and Baja Blue. Baja Blue. So I put a squirt in the bottom, really not much at all. And put them back in their tin because I'm trying to turn into a tidy crafter. And I'm going to take extender. So I'm doing 2 pipettes of extender. So I would say it's maybe like 25 to 30% ink and the rest is extender. You can actually add more. I just don't have that much extender and I don't have another bottle of it. I thought I did, but I only have cleanup solution. So you can extend them with blending solution. It's not the same. The thing I want to share with you . Okay, so I actually want 3 pieces. I'm so glad I found a whole box of this so we can like really play. As I say, if you're just playing, go grab some freezer paper. It'll go, excuse me, a really long way. Oh, my Blanco paints. Shake up our Blanco if I need to. Alright, so we're going to do one plain. We're going to do one where we put down blending solution first. And one where I'm going to put down isopropyl alcohol first. There's a little bit of spray around here, but it's fine. Okay, thanks Tina. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to do exactly the same on each. So a couple of squirts of the pink, a couple of squirts of the blue. Why have you got your phone? I'm not supposed to have your phone. Alright, so there's all 3. Oh, the black is for your pearls and stuff like that. So we'll have to get to that in another video because I'm going to cover this and then we'll kind of break it and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about other stuff that you can do. So here's your 3. So you already can kind of see the difference. So this was nothing on the surface. This is blending solution and this is isopropyl alcohol. So I'm going to just use my little hand one. What I want you to see is look how different each one behaves. So I don't, you know, like this for me is a lot, but it's going to be kind of cool when we come to use lift ink. So we'll use it for that. This one, I love how ethereal and wispy. Like, look how I can get that beautiful fade at the top here with the blending solution. And then this one, I don't know, it's just kind of different. I can make it look like clouds or waves or something. Like, it's kind of like, you know, when you see them do the sea foam on the resin and stuff. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And then this one's still wet, so I'm going to put some on this. I'll do something because it's still wet. This one's dry. But this is the Blanco. So I think this behaves very differently to, say, Tim's white. So on the one with nothing, is the Blanco really picks up the color. On the one that had blending solution, it just kind of bleaches the area. But what I can do is reactivate it, and I can push the color back into it and create some fun things. With the isopropyl alcohol, it actually breaks the Blanco down. And you see how I can kind of create some extra textures in there. So each of the, you know, the things you do, like this, I love like that foamy effect. You see how the isopropyl alcohol broke it down? Whereas the blending solution didn't really do anything. We can add some more blending solution in it, which will help it activate and blend a little bit more. But it really is a very different animal. I love this effect with it, or this effect. That's my favorite. So wait for it to dry, and then kind of put it on, or put it on and put isopropyl alcohol with it, because the isopropyl alcohol breaks it down and gives it those kind of like foamy effects to it as well. And then metallics are a little bit different. So this is their copper. I have it in a big bottle. It just flew off the bottle. Open. So their metallics, in my opinion, have a lot more color and dance in them compared to the Ranger ones. And I'm just gonna put some on each. I'm gonna do the same thing. So this is with isopropyl alcohol. You see like it's nicely thinned it, and I can really kind of get some movement in my metallics. This is with my blending solution. And I really think compared to Tim's metallics, and I love Ranger, you know I love Ranger, but I just think that Jacquard nailed alcohol inks. And I'm really sad because we had alcohol inks that had kaleidoscope powders in them. And, oh my god, they were so cool. We also have, does anyone remember, what were they called? Tonic had them. They were like the color bursts, like the pigments that you added water and they burst into color. We had ones that were alcohol activated. Oh, so cool. They were so many cool things. Anyway, life changed. But we're back. Maybe we'll get them back either. So you can kind of see the difference. So again, this is with nothing underneath. This is with blending solution underneath. And this is with isopropyl alcohol underneath. I'm a big fan I'm using isopropyl alcohol for a couple of reasons. It does mute down the colors a little bit, so maybe you want to start your base this way, and you can now always could add isopropyl alcohol. But the reason I like it is, one, it's super cheap, so I can use lots of it and not have to worry. And two, is it has this like chemical reaction on stuff. Where's my pipette plug going here? Like here, I can kind of add some fun stuff. So even though this was blending solution, I can now go in with my isopropyl alcohol. Even on this one, that had nothing before. I can also spray my isopropyl alcohol, which is another reason I love it. But I can reactivate, and I can kind of have fun. So each one has a very different feel to it. And we're going to use alcohol lifting in the next video with stamps and stencils and stuff. And you'll kind of see like how cool all of these are. So I'm just going to take this one. Alright, I also just had an idea. I have no idea if this is going to work, but we're going to try it and see. We're going to try and see. I have to take the glove off because I can't feel a thing. And I need to feel for the end of my tape. Candy, this is Maker Forte paper. I just listed it. I found a whole box of it. It's called Geminino paper. So on this side it's like Yupo, and on the other side it's like glossy cardstock. Because a lot of people don't, excuse me, I had that in my tea. A lot of people don't realize you can use glossy cardstock with your dye inks as well as your alcohol inks. It's actually a porous paper. It has a, yeah. It has a clay-based coating on it that makes it super cool. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to take some kitchen towel. And I have no idea if this is going to work, by the way. I'm spritzing the kitchen towel with isopropyl alcohol. Okay, it's just regular alcohol on it. And I want to wipe in between. I'm also going to wipe at the bottom here. And this is what Misty was saying, like if you don't like what you made, you can basically take it back to almost nothing. What I don't know is if it's going to lift the alcohol in up with it. That's what I don't know. Knew this way would work. So say for instance I do this. And then I'm like, oh, let's do something fun. Let's do some, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blue and the pink, and I don't have much extender, so I'm going to do a little cheat, and I'm just going to use isopropyl alcohol. So I'm going to really thin these down. So that this is mostly alcohol and just a little bit of the pigment. So I'm doing 2 pipettes full. So like these bottles are maybe like a third or so full. And really there's not much alcohol ink in there at this point. Right. So we'll put the lids back on. You still see how vivid it is. It's not like suddenly it's lost all of its... I can't move the paper because it's stuck down. And there's nothing underneath it right now. So I didn't put any base in. But you see, because I use alcohol rather than the extender, it separates. Like it just has a different kind of reaction. And I'm going to throw like something wild in there. And I'm going to use some onyx. I have no idea how this is going to come out. But this is a metallic black that has a ton of shimmer in it. So we'll see what happens. You know, if I don't like it, I can wipe it off. Or I cut it in a different place. Let's add some baby pink pearl, because why not? So now I'm mixing brands together, but I just kind of want to see if you could create like something really pastel-y and then have like vibrant in between it. I love this baby pink. Can you guys see how much shimmer is inside of this? Delina says, I purchased some of the Geminino paper. I've never used it. Is there anything special to do to use it successfully? No, I'm just using, this is the matte side. This is like the satin side. The other side is your glossy. You can also alcohol ink on it, or you can, you can do anything you want on it. You can use your color hide inks, all those kinds of things on it. So I kind of just want this to be super dark because I want to see what it looks like when I pull it back. I just have to make sure this is, I don't know if I burnished that on enough either, but we're going to find out. So I wanted this to be more like cosmic-y, so you would get that vibrant versus cosmic look to it. I don't know, there was some method to that lesson. To clean up a huge mess, so we can do a bit of on that thing. So the other thing that you can get, because the Jacquard have a lot of binder in them, they sell a cleaning solution, and it's really good for your tools, particularly if you paint with it or something. But it's amazing at cleanup, even more I think, because so hand sanitizer is great, trust me, I use it. I use my isopropyl alcohol, but when you've got something with lots of binder, it's a resin and it can be tough to clean up. And I just don't want a ton of like wet alcohol ink around, so that's why I'm doing this, because I really want to see if this masking technique works, because it'd be kind of cool if you could do things like this. Never thought of it before, but I thought we would try it. And then tomorrow we'll resume alcohol inks, because I think well, I know, like I have a ton of stuff still on my table. Like I want to show you painting techniques, resist, alcohol lift ink, things you can do with markers. Like there's still a ton of techniques out there. So we'll, you know, I could go on probably all day about these. You notice also pull away from yourself. Oh. Don't do that. No. This is still kind of wet. So you might want to let it dry if you do this at home. You don't want it to dry too much. But it doesn't pull up the ink. I don't know, I think that's just kind of cool that you can layer different things in here. My fingers are all inky, this is not the best plan I've ever had. So there you can kind of Thanks, Talina. Yeah, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, all those kinds of things. As I say, if there's anything you want, it's in the store. Pretty much everything I've used is in the store if you don't already have it in your stash. hedgehoghhollowstore.com, links in the description, the usual. Okay. I'm just going to take my glove off and wrap that in my glove. But like, I think it's kind of cool that you can do like stripes with the alcohol inks. So you can just highlight different parts of your paper and do different techniques using the tape. So you can do like stripes, or you could just highlight a certain piece, or you could do it all black and just have one vibrant piece, like all kinds of different things. Or you could do black and then put tape over like here, and then put your like pull some of it back, so then you'd have light, dark, light, dark. You can always go back, as I say, with alcohol. I can still, even now, it will always react with alcohol. So even now, it's dry, I can spritz it, and it's going to react again, and I can move it around. So if you don't like it, when you come back to it, you can see now I can go back and do different things with it as well. So tons and tons of different things. Now you can see me for, yeah. So yeah, so lots and lots of different things you can do with alcohol inks. So that's the first hour and a half on alcohol inks. And I feel like I haven't really even got started. Like there's just so many things you can do with them. So we'll do a part 2 tomorrow. We'll talk about painting with them. We'll talk about using re-inkers. We'll talk about alcohol lifting. We're going to talk about the marabous, because I didn't get to use those today. So you can kind of see the difference with the marabous. We didn't get to use the pen. So I'll put the pen out on my desktop too. And yeah, if there's anything else you want to see in terms of alcohol inks, but I really probably could do a whole like week on alcohol inks at least. But anyway, so we'll finish up alcohol inks tomorrow. As I say, you can use them on any non-porous surface. There's all sorts of different things you can do with them. And don't forget to thumbs up the video, hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and do go and check out the Hedgehog Hollow store and see if there's anything that grabs you, or you might want to add to your stash, and we can craft along together. And if you're a channel member, stay tuned. I'll be going live. What time is it now? 4:36. So probably closer to like 6:30. I will go live just to members, and I'm going to show you some really, really cool stuff. I'm so excited. And then we'll do the same again tomorrow. So thank you so much for hopping on with me today. Any questions, leave them in the description below, and I'll try and answer them in tomorrow's video. And otherwise, have a great evening and happy crafting, everyone. Bye.